Welcome back. This is Mr. Marshall for Truganina College. Year 9 Maths. We're looking at measurement and geometry. This is lesson 3 and we're looking at areas of quadrilaterals. Today our learning intention is we are learning to calculate the area of quadrilaterals. Our success criteria is I am successful when I can identify the correct formula to calculate the areas of a rhombus, a trapezium, and a parallelogram. And I can use the formula to calculate the area of a quadrilateral. Now our connector for today, we're going to prove that a square is a rectangle. So a quadrilateral is any four-sided shape. Quad meaning four. So any four-sided shape is a quadrilateral. Now, generally we can break quadrilaterals up into different types of quadrilaterals. One being a kite, where we've got these two sides are equal, and these two sides are equal. We have a trapezium, where the opposite two sides, this side and this side, are parallel. And we have a parallelogram, where this side and this side are parallel, and this side are parallel. Now a parallelogram kind of looks like a squashed rectangle, but we will come back to that in a moment. So we have our rhombus here. Now rhombus, all four sides are equal, but it's similar to both a parallelogram and a kite. Parallelogram because this side and this side are equal, and this side are equal and parallel. And for a kite, these two sides are the same length, and these two sides are the same length. Or you could look at it this way, this side and this side are the same length, that side and that side are the same length. Now for a rectangle, as I said, a parallelogram looks like a squashed rectangle, but a rectangle is actually a parallelogram where it's got right angles in the corners. And a trapezium is a parallelogram. Again, if we pull this out to make this a right angle and pull that out to make that a right angle and kept these parallel, that's how they link together. And finally, our rectangles and our rhombuses merge together to form a square where we have 90 degrees in each corner. All four sides are equal, opposite sides are equal. And so we've got the opposite sides are equal and 90 degrees in the corner from the rectangle. We've got the rhombus where all four sides are equal, merging together to form that square. Now this is a table that we had in our last lesson with all the quadrilaterals that we're looking at this unit. And the ones we're focusing on today are the bottom three, the rhombus, the parallelogram, and the trapezoid. So, starting off with the rhombus. What you need to know to work out the area is the two diagonal lengths. So that's from this corner to this corner, that corner to that corner. And we multiply the two lengths together and then divide by 2. So one way is writing it diagonal 1 divided by times diagonal 2 divided by 2, or half of diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Now, here's a worked example. We've worked out this diagonal was 8 units. This diagonal is 12 units. We put it into our formula. I just use this top formula here. D1 times D2 divided by 2. 8 times 12 divided by 2 is 48 units squared. Because we weren't told whether this was centimeters or meters or kilometers, we just wrote down unit squared to say that whatever units we're measuring it in, it's the unit squared. Area of a trapezium. Area of a trapezium is the top and the bottom, or in this case, the two parallel sides. We might have the trapezium at a different angle, but we go this length plus this length divided by 2 to work out the average of the two lengths, and then multiplied by the distance between those two lengths. So here's an example. We have 5 centimeters at the top, 12 centimeters at the bottom. Those two are parallel because it's a trapezium. and 4 centimeters between the two. So I put it into my equation. Now with this, I could type it into my calculator. I could go half times 5 plus 12, then times all that by 4. Or we can break it down step by step. 5 plus 12 is 17. Half of 17 is 8.5. And then multiply by that by 4 is 34 centimeters squared, because we were working in centimeters here. And because the answers, because we're looking for an area, the units are squared. Another example here. 14 centimeters, 6 centimeters, and 8 centimeters. So the two sides that are parallel, 14 and 6, go into this addition. And the side that's perpendicular to both, the distance between them, is our 8 centimeters. And then we can multiply it all the way through, and we get 80 centimeters squared. Again, making sure our units are there. Our last one is area of parallelograms. Now, an area of a parallelogram is the base times the height. That's all it is. So base times the distance between the base. Remember, this is a perpendicular. It's very much similar to the triangles that we were looking at last lesson. But the difference is we don't divide by 2 here, we just times the 2. Now, here's an example. We have 7 centimeters here, 15 centimeters here, and 5 centimeters here. Now, to work it out, we needed the base times the height. Remember, I said it had to be right angles, so that here's our right angle showing the distance. So we know it's got to be this one and this one. We can forget this 7 centimeters. So we have base times height, 15 times 5, 75 centimeters squared. Same here. Again, we've got 2 meters, 2.5 meters, and 1.8 meters. We look for the two sides that are perpendicular, right angles to each other. And so we get our 2.5 for our base, our 1.8 for our height, and then we multiply to 2 to get 4.5 meters squared. So in your pack, you would have had a worksheet from last lesson. We only did a couple of questions from that sheet. Now we're going to be completing the sheet as we know all of the different rules. So you have those working at practice level will be doing the L1 sheet. Those working at consolidating level will be doing the L2 sheet. And those working at master level will be doing the L3 sheet. For our reflection today, I want you to rate your understanding on how to calculate areas of shapes mentioned in this lesson. Are they shapes that you need to continue working on? How would you ensure to master those skills? And what will you need to do to make sure that you know all of these different areas?